Professional wrestling is the one true sport. Other sports have their share of intense, dramatic moments, but nothing can compare with professional wrestling. Welcome to Wrestling History X, where three friends come together to talk about the stories behind the matches. I'm Matt.
I'm Mikey Kurana.
And I am doing that thing I do.
Welcome to episode 222, Ultimate Jeopardy, 1996.
What is ECW?
Where is ECW?
2900 Arena?
Philadelphia.
Yeah, it's in Philly.
So this is the second Ultimate Jeopardy produced by ECW. It would take place on October 5th, 1996, from the ECW Arena in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, with an attendance of 1,200 people.
A little bit lower than our last Philly show.
Still hanging from the rafters.
11,800 people less.
Oh.
Last week was Philly.
Last week was in Philly.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
13,000 strong.
Last Philly show, I was like, ECW show. I was like, this is what they can hold. I forgot already about
Mind games. Slipped your mind.
But I shouldn't have. We like the show.
So Shane, we're still in Philadelphia.
Boy, are we ever.
Did you do that thing that you do?
I did that thing I do. Doing that thing I do. Yeah.
This joke will make much more sense here in about 5 minutes.
It will. And, the booze will be kicking in by then, too, hopefully. Yeah, we are in Philly, and it's ECW, and we were in Philly last week, and I made up those
Taters.
cheesy fries, crab fries, I guess technically is what they're called. This week, I figured we need to have a cocktail. It's ECW. ECW is always better with some booze. And so I looked up, as I tend to do, drinks that are inspired from this show. I went the easy route and found a pretty drink. I just looked up drinks with Philly in the name.
It is pretty.
Yeah, it's a nice red chartreuse. Is that a red color? No, chartreuse is like blue or green or something. I don't know my colors, but this is a nice red hue, a deep red.
Yeah, it's like a nice bruise. This one
it's
here,
like JR's eye.
This one here is called the Philly Smash. It is kind of a play on an old fashioned in a way, I guess, technically. It has some mixed berries. I went for blackberry and raspberry. Muddled up a few of those in each glass with some simple syrup. It called for some rye whiskey, and I thought we had more whiskey, and we did not. So I had to mix a little whiskey and brandy together in this one.
That's not a million miles away.
Yeah. But, it's ECW, so we're just taking what we can find and throwing it all together and hoping for the best.
Don't we know it?
It's got this concoction anyways, has the Jack Daniels mixed with some brandy. There is some Campari in there as well, and a little bit of lime juice. And just because we were short on the alcohol side of it, I added a little bit of club soda just to top off the glass. It's
really nice.
Yeah, it's got a whiskey warmth to it. It has the berries in there
and the slight bitter of the nicely. Campari, because Campari, you can go too much Campari and it'll be like fuck.
Yeah. And this one, the original recipe called for Averna, which it described Averna as licoricey and bitter with like some citrusiness to it, and that's kind of the essence of bitters, but bitters has more of the citrus than it does the licorice flavor to it. But then there's the Campari that a lot of times people will say has a licoricey taste to it. So it seemed like a good substitution.
I mean, yeah, this is one of the, I think, better cocktails we've had in a while.
Yes, especially for ECW, because normally it's like, what fucked up thing can I find to put in a glass that
Let's get a blowjob, guys.
Tastes like Sandman.
I forgot about that one. That was awful.
Yeah, it's definitely not the salt lick thing that we had that one show with the
brain damage.
The brain damage was better than that salt lick I don't remember what the hell it was. I think it was a WCW show that we did that one for.
The bull shot. The bull shot.
Bull shot.
Bull shot.
That's
I was
what
like,
it
I don't
was.
remember Salt Lake. Yeah, the
Yeah,
bull shot.
It just tasted like a Salt Lick, like
It's tough.
beef
No,
consomme.
the brain damage just didn't look appealing.
No.
It tasted fine, but
Yeah. No, this one this looks nice.
it looks nice. And
Drinking it
tastes
through a
nice.
straw on this one is not the wise choice, though, because you get nothing but pulp.
Oh,
It's like
yeah.
You're getting all the berries.
Yep.
Seeds.
But yeah, it's got a good warmth to it. There's a kick of the lime in there to brighten things up. The berries have a good flavor mixed with the combination of whiskey and brandy. Yeah, I'm pleasantly pleased with this
some of your
Philly smash.
finest work, especially working
Back to back
with a mixed bag of ingredients. You pulled it off quite well.
Woo! Well, speaking of a mixed bag, let's talk about some things that happened right around the same time as this show.
Mm-hmm.
A variety of films would release the same weekend. Bound, D3, The Mighty Ducks,
No more Mighty Ducks. God damn.
The Glimmer Man, and That Thing You Do.
Oh, that thing you do.
I've seen 2 of these. Not sure if I've ever seen D3, but I know I saw D1 and D2. I feel like I had to have seen D3. I think I saw every 90s sports movie as a kid in the theater.
I want to say I've seen this one, but I'm trying to remember because I'm kind of that same thing. I know I've seen the first 2 for sure.
It's when they go off to the prep school.
Okay, I don't think I saw that.
It may have just been too long since I've seen this one that I'm struggling to remember.
Yeah, it probably was.
Is this where he's dating Charlie's mom or
I think that's in...
Pacey's mom from Dawson's Creek? I think his name was Charlie in the movie.
Remember.
Yeah. But there's better movies, obviously, sitting here.
Yes.
In Bound, a movie that I love. I'm a big fan of the Wachowskis, and I think Bound is a wonderful little entertaining film.
Estevez isn't in it for very long. He's like in the first scene or so.
Oh, then maybe I haven't seen this one.
I don't think I have. And then That Thing You Do, a VH1 classic. I mean, this thing played all the time. I didn't realize that it was 96. I thought it was a little later than that. Nope. But this is one of those movies, if it's on TV, you just pick it up. And I feel like most people probably saw it on TV. I never even realized that, in my mind, it's not even like a movie that came out in the theater. Is it the first Tom Hanks directed film?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it the only Tom Hanks directed film?
Don't believe so.
Well, maybe motion picture, but he's directed
other things.
He's directed other things.
Yeah,
like
he had his
stuff.
hand in Band of Brothers and. Yeah, Bound was that Jennifer Tilly and
Gina Gershon and
Kat.
Joey Pants.
Kat. Make sure I was remembering the right one because I remember Bound was.
He also directed Larry Crown.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. Yeah, Bound was one that during the Blockbuster days. It was a hot commodity. All 2 copies of it that we had because it's
it has
90s lesbian movie.
Jennifer Tilly and Gina Gershon looking hot.
Yeah,
and doing girly stuff.
I'm trying to remember Glimmer Man.
I don't know Glimmer Man.
Glimmer Man's a Steven Seagal movie.
Okay, that's why I don't remember Glimmer Man.
I think I've only seen.
I think I gave
Under
up on
Siege 2.
Him and Keenan Ivory Wayans.
Okay, I do remember the box for that one because I was thinking it was a Wayans Brothers one, but
they're basically cops and they're trying to solve a serial killer named the Family Man.
He's not called the Glimmer Man? You would think.
You'd think, right?
It sounds like that's a Seagal movie. Just when you think it should make sense, it doesn't.
It has Brian Cox and.
Oh yeah, Brian Cox is in everything though. He's that.
He was a B movie villain for the
true.
majority of his career.
He's been in everything. Yeah, Glimmer Man, I never felt the
it
need to
was
see that one.
I think it was the first one when you could notice that Seagal had started gaining weight.
See, Executive Decision was the last Seagal movie I think I willingly watched, and that was just because, spoiler, it's almost 30 years later, but he gets killed in the first 5 minutes of the movie, so it's the best Steven Seagal movie ever. But yeah, That Thing You Do, love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Tom Hanks.
Steve Zahn.
Yeah.
Steve Zahn.
Lord praise Steve Zahn.
Got, I can't think of his damn name.
Ethan Embry.
Not him. Jonathan Schick, or however you pronounce his last name. Christina Applegate's ex-husband.
Charlize Theron. Tom Everett Scott.
Yes, Tom Sepper Scott. That's who it is. Old glasses.
Giovanni
Shades.
Ribisi.
Yeah, it's
Peter Scolari.
great. You can't
Kevin
go wrong.
Pollak.
The soundtrack is amazing. It's still on constant rotation on my playlist.
Mine too.
I know all the songs to it. I sing along with all of them, even the girl band ones, because they've got some catchy damn songs on that soundtrack.
It's definitely an easy and satisfying watch. I haven't ran it back in quite a while, but seeing it here, I'm like, that sounds nice. Also, I haven't watched Bound in a while either.
I haven't watched Bound since 1996, so...
It's good. It's good. It's fun. It's a tight thriller.
It was a good movie. It was also one of those where it was like, yep, I'm gay.
The fun thing about Bound is that the Wachowskis were like, all right, we want to make this movie, The Matrix, and they're like, cool, but you have to prove it first because like this is a lot of money and very technical thing. So they made Bound, and it was basically just a test to see if they could make a movie. And then, so they weren't even particularly worried about how much it made. Like, it did okay or whatever, but they're like, we just need to make sure that you are capable. So we'll give you some money to make something small to show us what you can do. And they made this
classic.
Really, this tight little movie that I feel like when people bring up the Wachowskis, they don't necessarily talk about this one.
Roger Ebert gave it a 100.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That rules. I mean, like I said, it's a solid type movie. You can't really you can't really poke any holes in it or whatever. It's just
it's several different genres of a film. Like it's not like everyone basically remembers it for the lesbian. It's kind of like how I talked about last week with Charlize Theron. Like the reason people remember 2 Days in a Valley was because she got naked in it.
The movie's good.
The reason the people remember Bound is because Jennifer Tilly and Jenny Gashron have lesbian sex. But there is a movie around that
rules.
That is very good.
Yeah, I mean it's like got noir vibes and thriller vibes and erotic thriller vibes, and then it is very there's a lot of tension.
There's a heist.
Yeah.
It's gangsters.
Mm-hmm.
There's funny moments.
Yeah, but the tension is very palpable in that movie. When people are trying to hide things from people, you are very nervous about them getting caught, which means you're doing something right. And who doesn't love Joe Pantoliano?
Joey Pants.
Love him.
I gotta look at the cast for Mighty Ducks. Who all was in that one? Was it the usual players?
I mean, it was most of the same crew,
except for Emilio Polday.
Emilio, basically at the beginning of the movie, he's like, "I'm going to coach the junior Goodwill games."
Which basically he was like, I'll show up for a day on set. It was, or like, a couple days, kind of pulling like a Heston in Planet of the Apes 2. I'm sure plenty of other people in sequels, but that's the first one that came to mind.
Yeah, I don't think I saw this one because I don't remember them going to a prep school, but it's also been a long time since I've watched anything Mighty Ducks related, so...
I mean, if I didn't see it and I was a more appropriate age for a Mighty Ducks movie, you probably totally skipped it.
Yeah. Most likely it was... I don't even remember if it came into the theaters or if it was just straight to video.
That was going to be my question. It doesn't sound like it was in the theaters, Mighty Ducks 3, but, it was a big enough...
$22 million to the box office.
Okay, so it had like 2 weeks in the theater and then it was done.
For a third movie off of like in a sports thing, 22 million is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should have never
should never have existed.
Never should have gotten a third one.
Yeah.
Nope. But I mean, it did have some standout people on there. Joshua Jackson, he's managed to stay.
I mean, if you go through that cast of the kids, like they've all gone on to not be big stars, but like
I mean, the two biggest are going to be him and Keenan.
I mean, some of the girls have had different roles in TV shows and stuff like that.
What else do we got?
I'm not gonna say they're successfully, but
had a career,
but they're still working. Guess it depends on how you define success.
You're working. How many people are trying to be actors and actresses? So
there's lots of them.
And then Glimmerman was. I don't know. I never saw it. Didn't have a.
If you like Keenan Ivory Wayans, it's fun.
Yeah, I do love a buddy cop movie, good or bad. It is something that I can If I'm in the mood, I can handle most buddy cop films, even if they're bad.
It is still a Steven Seagal movie, but at least you get the Keenan Ivory Wayans fun in it.
And see, a lot of times Seagal will have a good supporting character to make the rest of the movie interesting for you.
It can't be much worse than Bulletproof.
No. Well, let's find out what this Ultimate Jeopardy is all about.
Do it.
And we go straight to our first match. Doug Furnas versus Louie Spicolli.
Yes! I've been talking about wanting to see it. Here it is.
Yup.
Let's go.
So Louie extends a hand, but Furnas just shows him the bird. So the fans start chanting, "Fuck him up, Louie, fuck him up." Doug uses his power early on, knocking Spicolli out of the ring with a shoulder block. But Louie comes back into the ring with a sunset flip, only for Furnas to stay up and punch down, where Spicolli has moved to avoid and nails a spinebuster, which Doug just kips up out of to no sell.
Hell yeah, dude.
Furnas with a knee lift, chops and kicks, before delivering a power slam and a leg drop for a 2 count. Doug goes for a slam, only for Louie to counter it into a small package for a near fall, with Furnas pummeling Spicolli once he makes it back to his feet. Doug hits a running clothesline in a corner for a 2 count, followed by strikes, with Louie trying to fire up, sending Furnas to the ropes and getting him up into a fireman's carry, only for Doug to slip out and nail a Frankensteiner, but he refuses to make a cover. Furnas keeps up the attack with multiple vicious lariats. He goes for a 3-point stance, only for Louie to catch him and drop Doug with a Spicolli driver for the pin and the win.
That's what you get, Furnas, for trying to big dog him.
Yup. Should have made that damn cover.
I mean, it's kind of what you wanted out of these guys. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing something longer, but psychology, big moves. There was even a corner break in an ECW match.
We then go to our second match. JT Smith with the FBI of Little Guido and Sal Bellomo, Devon Storm, and Bad Crew of Dog and Rose versus Mikey Whipwreck. Because everyone knows you need 5 people to take on Mikey Whipwreck.
Of course.
I mean, maybe he's back to winning on a fluke.
And all 5 guys surround Mikey in the ring, but he takes them all on, only for the numbers to catch up with him. They're beating down Whipwreck when the ref kicks everyone out, leaving a very hurt Mikey for Smith. JT goes for a vertical suplex, but Whipwreck counters it into a head scissors, several arm drags, and a drop kick. Mikey is sent to the ropes, where Devon looks to trip him up, but fails. So Whipwreck is able to arm drag Smith once again. JT sends Mikey to the ropes once more, with Storm and Guido succeeding in tripping him this time. So Whipwreck turns and flies over the ropes with a slingshot somersault senton out onto them both.
Hell yeah.
Devon and Little Guido start having an argument as everyone makes it back to their feet, while Smith comes out with a baseball slide, only for Mikey to avoid, so Storm and Guido get sent into a guardrail. Now Devon and Bad Crew have issues with the FBI, allowing Whipwreck to climb to the top turnbuckle to fly out with a crossbody.
ECW. I'm liking this. I mean, Mikey's always the underdog, but him dealing with being outnumbered well and just flipping around. It's fun. This is good Mikey stuff. Love to see it.
Mikey returns to the ring while JT makes his way to the apron, where Whipwreck goes to slingshot him in, but Smith catches him with a shot, knocking Mikey down to the mat. JT then follows up with a body slam and a Sicilian splash. It was like a handspring into the ropes and then falling onto his opponent for a 2 count. Smith with chops and chokes before going out to the floor to grab a chair. But Whipwreck hits a dropkick through the ropes into the chair into JT. Mikey then leaps off the top with a Franken Mikey onto the concrete before rolling Smith back in and delivering a slingshot neck snap. Whipwreck then springboards off of JT out onto the Bad Crew, but this allows Guido and Storm to beat Mikey down before rolling him back in, where Smith makes a one-handed cover for several 2 counts.
I mean, this is the Mikey show. He's just like, yeah, I can do it.
JT with shoulder blocks and chops, but he charges into a big boot, allowing Whipwreck to hit a tornado DDT, making the cover, only for Bad Crew to break it up as little Guido distracts the ref. Smith heads up top now, while Bad Crew sends Mikey to the ropes, which causes JT to crotch himself, all while Whipwreck ducks a double clothesline and nails a crossbody onto the Bad Crew. Mikey then backbody drops Guido when he runs in, followed by a thrust kick to knock Devon out of the ring, before climbing up to deliver a Franken Mikey to Smith for the pin and the win.
And what a horrific landing for JT on that Franken Mikey, especially after that tornado DDT was perfect. And then this one, I was afraid for the big Paisan himself.
May have just knocked the Italian right out of him.
Yeah, but good point. It's been a while since he got hit on the head that hard. And maybe he's just a red-blooded American after this next time we see him.
We go to our third match. Johnny Smith versus Taz, with Bill Alfonso and Team Taz in a submission match.
I know, I'm getting excited about this show.
Johnny Smith is making a lasting impression on ECW.
I know, these big, strong boys that we've seen lately that I've gloated over. I'm happy to see it. And then, Mikey getting to fling around the ring.
Yep.
I love it.
So before the match starts, Joey shows us some ECW fan cam footage of the human suplex machine at a Monday Night Raw.
Oh my God.
What?
So it was a continuation. Like I mentioned it last week on the Mind Games episode when the ECW guys showed up.
Raw was in Philly.
Exactly. So Fonzie takes the mic to irritate everyone, followed by our competitors locking up with no one gaining an advantage.
Of course, you get that Sabu chant, and the cheers for Johnny Smith are mostly because they hate Taz.
Taz tries for a couple hip tosses that get blocked, so he transitions into a fireman's carry takedown, only for Johnny to come back with one of his own. Back and forth mat work shared between the two until the human suplex machine challenges Smith to some amateur wrestling, which Taz escapes, giving himself 2 points.
Got on all fours for the man.
Now Johnny takes the position and he escapes even quicker before resuming the position, only for the human suplex machine to kick him, causing Smith to roll out to the floor.
And all the while, Shane's favorite instrument is being played to extreme degrees.
Yes.
And we're talking about the gym whistle.
Yes.
Performed by one Bill Alfonso.
It's endless. It's one of those, like, if torture porn has music, I imagine that's what it sounds like.
Oh, wow. That's a disturbing thought.
Taz follows out to run Johnny into a guardrail before taking him back into the ring to keep up the attack with a Northern Light suplex and whipping Smith from corner to corner. Johnny fires out with a forearm, but the human suplex machine counters with a drop toe hold into a bow and arrow hold, forcing Smith to make the ropes to break it. Taz then goes for a hip toss, only for Johnny to reverse for one of his own, followed by applying a cross arm breaker until the human suplex machine reaches the ropes. And Smith stays in control by working the arm, but he misses a clothesline, allowing Taz to take Johnny down with a suplex and locking on the red hook ringer, which was a bridging bow and arrow, until he loses his footing. The human suplex machine then goes for a clothesline, but Smith catches him into a Fujiwara armbar before transitioning into a chicken wing, only for Taz to again make the ropes. Johnny sends the human suplex machine to a corner, and he charges in after, only to receive a big boot, but catches Taz charging out with a power slam. Smith then puts on a STF, forcing the human suplex machine to crawl to the ropes to break the hold, before nailing a back elbow and heading up top to hit a missile dropkick, followed by a clothesline.
No covers.
Johnny continues with a scoop slam and heads up top again, diving off for a splash, but Taz gets his knees up. And the human suplex machine with a wheelbarrow suplex before locking on the Taz mission for the submission and the win.
Ocean City, baby.
Post-match, the human suplex machine takes the mic to say he only has one word to describe his path of rage. Raw. Before he mocks Sabu, while Alfonso continues to scream, "Who can stop the path of rage?"
It wasn't Johnny Smith, but I'd say he gets an A for effort.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, it's great. Johnny Smith is... I'm a fan. I'm loving this big boy era.
From never seeing him or knowing of his existence until he showed up in ECW, I'm pleasantly surprised with old Johnny Smith.
Yeah.
You can go. But I'd prefer if he stayed.
Yes.
So we go to our fourth match. The Samoan Gangsta Party
Oh, no.
of Matty Smalls and Sammy Silk
They can go.
versus the Eliminators of Perry Saturn and John Kronus. And the Samoans attack as soon as the Eliminators are in the ring, with Sammy missing a clothesline, allowing Saturn to come off the ropes with a crossbody for a 2 count. Perry continues with an arm drag and a drop kick, before heading up top for a missile drop kick that gets a 2 count, as Saturn moves when he sees Matty coming in with an elbow drop, causing Silk to take the blow. The Eliminators hit a double drop kick of Smalls, but Sammy charges in with a double clothesline to take the Eliminators down. Silk hits some chops and headbutts to the gut of Perry, while Matty chokes Kronus before nailing a vicious clothesline. The Samoans then hug, which allow the Eliminators to recover and deliver total elimination, with Saturn making the cover for the pin and the win.
Samoans, before that hug, they put up the X for a little bit of heat. Wonder what that could mean.
We then go to our fifth match of Public Enemy, of Flyboy Stevie Rock, and Meanie Grunge versus the Gangstas of New Jack and Mustafa Saed for the ECW World Tag Team Championships.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. This match started while I was in the kitchen grabbing a drink refill, and I heard the na 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 na. I'm like, no fucking way. Pop my head into the living room to see the TV. Like, okay,
You got a chuckle out of it?
cool.
I mean, it's pretty fun to see these guys in the jerseys, and the crowd's into it because they, Public Enemy was super over.
For some reason.
It was a nice, it was a fun comedy moment in wrestling that's not, like, based on anything that's happening in a match. So
Yes.
I approve of this comedy.
Yeah, it got more of a chuckle out of me than their dressing up as Kiss. Even though I like them dressed up as Kiss.
Yeah, no,
they had fun with it.
Yeah. These guys are fun.
So Stevie and Meanie take the mic saying they have a surprise. They're sober. Before Richard says he just can't do this anymore. Can't do this impression anymore.
And why?
Meanie isn't fat enough to be Grunge.
Cheap shots.
I'm not gonna lie, Meanie did look like he was a little slimmer, and maybe that's just because of what he was wearing.
Yeah,
Maybe
he
was-
looks good in a
maybe
in a hockey jersey.
Maybe he was sucking it in at the time.
Spanx came out in '96.
Stevie continues by calling out the Gangstas so we can kick your asses and win the titles.
Good luck.
Yup.
And the music hits and the trash cans come flying, with everybody brawling immediately. Flyboy with a Stevie kick to Jack, Meanie with a cookie sheet to Saed, followed by a broken piece of wood. Rock clotheslines New Jack against the top rope, while Mustafa nails a power slam on Grunge.
That's why he's thinner. He donated all of his cookie sheets to the ECW.
And he's sober, so maybe he lost,
Yeah.
lost a little of the...
Empty calories.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the Eliminators run into the ring and attack the Gangstas, nailing total elimination on Saed, the ref, and Meanie. New Jack then crawls back into the ring, only to be totally eliminated as well. And Perry takes the mic yelling that the belt is theirs and will be coming back to where they belong. So I'm going to guess that we're getting a no contest since the ref got knocked out.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense to me.
But on a sad note, instead of this match was supposed to be, instead of Public Enemy, it was actually supposed to be the Rock and Roll Express.
Oh.
But they no-showed the event.
So it was supposed to be Rock and Roll Express against
The Gangstas.
the Gangstas.
Yeah.
I don't want to see that.
I'm kind of glad that they no-showed then, because
Yeah, I don't know if I need to see that match either.
No, Rock and Roll Express deserve better than that, and I don't want to see them get hit in the head with cookie sheets or a Nintendo. Like I want to see the Rock and Roll Express wrestle. Yes, do the thing they do
I don't
best.
necessarily need to see them bleed.
No. Matter of fact, I'd be upset if they came here and bled. I would be upset with them degrading themselves to that degree. Not
Right.
that there's anything wrong with the Gangstas. I know New Jack's still... No, he did pass away, didn't he? Or is he still alive?
He's dead at this point.
Okay. Well, I don't... Yeah. I'm scared of his ghost as well. That's all I'm saying.
I do wonder what a Stevie Meanie Rock and Roll Express cosplay would have looked like, though.
I wouldn't mind Stevie having a match with them. I don't know that... I guess, it would probably be lighter on the Rock and Roll Express. They could make it work. Stevie and Meanie versus the Rock and Roll Express could be fun. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to see them. I don't want to see the boys get hit.
No.
So we go to our 6th match. The Eliminators of Perry Saturn and John Kronus versus the Gangstas of New Jack and Mustafa Saed for the ECW World Tag Team Championships. And the brawl is on as everyone hits the ring, with Perry hitting cutters on both Gangstas to take control. The Eliminators then mock their opponent's pose, allowing the Gangstas to recover and attack from behind with a ladder clothesline to both. Mustafa hits a backbreaker on Saturn, followed by using a nightstick and a vertical suplex, all while Kronus is being beat up by Jack using different plunder. Perry comes back with a thrust kick and a clothesline to Saed, and he knocks down New Jack, allowing John to recover. Jack uses a crutch over the back of Saturn before clotheslining him over the ropes into the front row, while Mustafa and Kronus brawl around ringside as well. New Jack then comes flying off the apron with a clothesline onto Perry, followed by a chair shot as everybody is now brawling into the crowd. They finally make their way back to the ring, with John swinging the trash can around, getting a little too crazy with it, as he jumps on the ropes, only to trip and fall down to the mat.
Yeah, old Kronus was on one. Something.
He was definitely on something.
Yeah.
And the crowd lets him know about it, only for Kronus to just yell back that they fucked up.
Yep.
Before we clip ahead, where Jack is a bloody mess, while Mustafa bulldogs Saturn onto a chair. Saed nails a running power slam on Perry for a 2 count before hitting a low blow. We then skip ahead again with Mustafa delivering a running power slam to John, followed by a 187 chair dive from New Jack for the pin and the win. Post-match, Saturn tells the camera that he's sick of being robbed of his belt, while the Gangstas pose in the ring, only for the Eliminators to decide to attack once again, as Perry dropkicks Jack before hitting total elimination on Saed. They also deliver total elimination on New Jack, before laying a table across the top turnbuckle, with Kronus leaping off with a splash to Jack. Perry then opens up a ladder and sets it on the table.
I mean, come on, dog.
Climbs to the top and comes off with an elbow drop to New Jack, followed by climbing back up to nail a splash to Saed.
Yeah.
We're getting violently creative here. These are some... these will go down to be ECW package shots. Like, you know what I mean? This is a little more intense than JT's early falling out of the nest or whatever.
Up in the scaffolding.
We then go to our 7th match. Terry Gordy versus Bam Bam Bigelow in a battle of the Bam Bams. Woo! And we haven't seen Bam Bam since Just Another Night.
Just Another Night.
Episode 192.
He's one of those guys that never seems to stay in one place for very long, which I kind of would have liked for him to stick in one place for a while. Kind of like Ricky Steamboat. Seems like he just
as he's getting going,
spurts.
he's gone.
Yeah. So I feel the same way about.
I think he's just been hanging out in Japan for a little while.
Yeah, I mean,
since we've seen him last.
I'm sure he's been wrestling. It's just like as far as the stuff we cover, it would have been nice if he had like a full year or two run in WCW or WWF.
But I mean, that's the case. He did have a couple year run, I think, in WWF the last time. Because, I mean, he did his...
he main evented WrestleMania,
yeah,
guys.
and that's another reason I think
Fortunately,
he had to take a step away. He
memorable.
had to make sure people forgot the whole...
Yeah, LT thing.
Yeah.
It would have been nice if he got to wrestle somebody.
Yeah.
But hey, I'm sure you got paid all right.
So the two men trade clotheslines, followed by a Gordy back suplex. But Bigelow gets back to his feet to nail a drop kick that sends Terry out to the floor. Bam Bam follows out with a baseball slide that Gordy sidesteps, and the two men brawl around ringside, with Terry being run into the ring post and the guardrail, until Bigelow has the favor returned, before returning to the ring.
And early on, you can tell that Bam Bam is whispering in the ear of one Terry Gordy, who, I don't know if you guys know this, but he's not all there after his,
almost dying from a drug overdose.
Exactly. He was never the same, and Bam Bam, it's clear as day that he is calling this in the ring to Terry Gordy.
Yeah, because Gordy was never able to remember spots very well, so people had to tell him basically everything as they were going through a match.
Damn.
Yeah, and it's painfully obvious here, and quite a bummer, but moving on.
Yep.
Bam Bam with headbutts, elbows, and right hands before charging into a big boot. But he catches Gordy charging out for a back suplex, only for Terry to get right back to his feet to nail a drop kick that sends Bigelow out to the floor. Gordy then goes for a baseball slide, which Bam Bam sidesteps and rams Terry's head into a guardrail, before grabbing a chair to use over the head multiple times. Bigelow then drags Gordy up to the apron to bring him in the hard way for a 2 count, and then grabs a headlock to wear Terry down.
Probably do a little bit of whispering. I love that Joey refers to the 2900 Arena as the world's most famous bingo hall. It was just, it's kind of cute. But seeing Gordy take those chair shots, knowing what we know, kind of hurt a little.
Gordy escapes with some elbows, but momentum is stopped with a knee to the gut and a DDT for a near fall, before Bam Bam goes back to the headlock. Terry again escapes and delivers several clotheslines and an elbow drop for a 2 count, before he grabs a chin lock, with Bigelow breaking free to hit a Samoan drop for a near fall. Gordy ducks a clothesline and returns off the ropes with one of his own that knocks Bam Bam backwards, so Terry nails another to send them both out to the floor. Gordy now uses a chair multiple times over the back, slamming Bigelow's face into the timekeeper's table, which ends up breaking in half, before returning to the ring. And Terry lifts Bam Bam up into a fireman's carry, but the weight's too much, so he falls over with Bigelow using the momentum to land on top for a 2 count. And Gordy hits some stomps and goes back to the chinlock, with Bam Bam grabbing the ropes to break the hold. But Terry stays on the attack with a springboard butt splash, before going for an elbow drop, only for Bigelow to move. Bam Bam then telegraphs a back body drop, so Gordy kicks him away and delivers a running bulldog for a near fall. And Terry goes for another back suplex, only for Bigelow to reverse in midair to land on top for a 2 count. But then the two men clothesline each other down for a double KO. When they get back to their feet, they start running the ropes, with each going for a crossbody that knocks each other down once more. But Gordy's back to his feet first, calling for the spike, when the Eliminators would run out to hit total elimination, while Bam Bam distracts the ref. Bigelow then climbs to the top for a diving headbutt, for the pin, and the win.
Some boos, some cheers, mostly sad for Terry Gordy.
Yep.
Crowd was not into it.
And, the Eliminators make the run in again.
So, total elimination is the new chokeslam.
Pretty much.
At least on ECW.
It's the new chokeslam. They're the new 911.
Mm-hmm.
At least the move looks cool.
It's a great looking move for sure. I'm not
But
not mad about it yet.
Them or Red Dragon?
I mean, I'm always going to be more of a fan of Red Dragon. Because who likes John Kronus?
I mean, he is impressive for his size.
I'll admit, I like him more in this show than I've liked him in others, just because he's on something more than he's been on in the other shows, where he's actually showing like a teeny tiny bit of personality in there.
And with how big he is, those springboard back elbows are pretty wild. He does do some wild stuff, but he's not Saturn.
Yeah, normally he just kind of walks around and you don't notice he's there because Saturn's doing everything, and he actually does. A lot of it is fuck ups.
That's what he does. He takes the pin.
He takes the pin.
Someone's got to do it.
But now he's walking around and like talking to himself and making weird faces to the camera and swinging trash cans and falling over the top rope.
Calling the fans slurs.
Yeah.
So we go to our 8th match. Bubba Ray Dudley with Big Dick, Spike, and Chubby Dudley versus Devon Dudley with Axel Rotten. And this match is joined in progress as Devon has a chair in hand, using it over the head of Bubba several times. Mm-hmm. We skip ahead to Bubba Ray tossing Devon out of the ring and following out with the plancha. Another jump ahead as Bubba is lifting Devon for a powerbomb, but Devon slips out the back and is handed a chair from Axel and uses it over the head of Bubba Ray for the pin and the win.
Boos for Devon Dudley, and I love to see Bubba take that pin.
Post-match, we jump to Rotten using a chair on Spike multiple times when Big Dick would enter the ring. And Axel spits his gum out and it ends up landing in Dick's hair.
Yeah, I know. He must have been pissed about that.
Before hitting Big Dick right over the head with a chair.
But what does Big Dick do?
But it's no sold.
Oh my god.
We move forward to Rotten laying in the ring with Dick heading up top to hit a moonsault.
Didn't expect it.
Oh my god!
The Dick salt.
The Dick salt, guys.
Cue the AC/DC.
Like, I've literally seen some impressive moonsaults from people.
Yeah.
Like, Big Dick doing a moonsault.
Since this is like the first thing we've seen him do.
That, like, ranks up there with, what was the Fat Twins?
Oh.
Abdullah the Butcher boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those dudes doing the moonsault. Like,
that was, yeah.
Like, what is going on?
It's like we've seen Vader do it, but this looks better than Vader. This looks better than Vader's.
This looks better than Vader's, yeah.
Yeah. Or, I know he landed on his head against Kurt Angle, but Brock Lesnar doing a shooting star press, something he should never do and doesn't have to do, but it's crazy that he can mostly do it.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting.
No, I popped for it
from Big Dick,
especially because he hasn't, like we said, he hasn't done anything, and then he pulls out a moonsault. It's like
we've
been waiting for you to do something.
He's over here, Devon's over here. Let's walk to the other side and totally miss each other. Now let's walk back. Now let's walk over here.
That guy left in a car while he chased
Lord of the Rings, and then something's finally happened.
Yeah.
So we head to our 9th match. The franchise, Shane Douglas with Francine versus Pitbull number 2 with Pitbull number 1 for the ECW World Television Championship.
Let's do it.
Champion came out first, guys. Foreshadowing. And Pitbull hits the ring, and the fight is on.
Shane Douglas still got that belt on. Pitbull 2's not messing around.
No.
He nails several clothesline and takes the belt from around the franchise's waist and uses it to clock Shane for a 2 count. Francine climbs in to yell at number 2, which brings the crowd chanting, "She's a whore," and a distraction, allowing Douglas to pick up the title to return the favor for a near fall. The franchise with a DDT, but it's no sold. So Shane begs off, only to receive a press slam into a brainbuster for a 2 count.
Pretty cool.
And Douglas rolls out, only for Pitbull to follow out to keep the attack with chair shots and a chin lock, before tossing the franchise into a guardrail. Now back in the ring, number 2 delivers a choke slam for a near fall, before working the neck with the crowd wanting vengeance, yelling, "Break his neck!" Pitbull with a choke lift and more chokes, until Shane bounces out of a corner to nail a swinging neck breaker and a pile driver. And Douglas continues with a vertical suplex, and he starts working the neck of number 2 with holds until Pitbull lifts him on his shoulders to drop him face first across the turnbuckle.
I mean, such solid and simple psychology. He's cranking on his neck or whatever. What does Shane Douglas do immediately when he gets out? Does power moves to the neck of Pitbull too. You love to see it.
The franchise is whipped to a corner, but he moves, sending number 2 into the ring post, shoulder first.
Posted.
Followed by Shane nailing another swinging neckbreaker for a 2 count. Douglas with some right hands, but Pitbull starts firing back, taking the franchise up to the top rope for mounted punches, even knocking the ref down so he could continue.
Ref bump.
The Eliminators hit the ring, but number 2 delivers a double clothesline and pounds his chest, allowing them to recover and hit total elimination.
Okay, I think now we're to the point where there's been enough eliminators on the show.
Yep.
Followed by Shane flying in off the top with an elbow drop for the pin, and no, Pitbull kicks out.
Yeah, he did.
We love to see it. This is a pro Pitbull podcast. We're also pro Shane Douglas, but I mean, come on.
Number 2 reverses a whip, but then just keeps running Douglas from corner to corner until finally charging in, only for the franchise to get his boot up 3 times in a row.
Damn it.
Shane heads up top, but Pitbull shakes the ropes, causing Douglas to crotch himself, allowing number 2 to climb up to deliver a super fallaway slam. Francine then pulls something out of her dress, not that perverts, and climbs to the apron, while Pitbull is setting up for a super bomb. And number 2 grabs her, sending the object flying into the ring, with a distraction allowing the franchise to grab it. All while Francine goes to her knees to beg off Pitbull, which elicits the crowd to chant, "Suck his dick."
We're in Philly, guys.
Yep.
It would be so funny for female ballet manager or whatever to get on the apron and just pull one titty out. I'm just like, it's just one titty is way too funny, but it could only really work on, like, at least in kayfabe, on somebody like Bubba Ray Dudley, where it's like, oh, he's just a giant 12-year-old.
Titties.
At least right now.
Yeah, we'll
see a tit at some point, I'm sure.
we're a couple years away from some titties showing up on TV.
Looking at you, Jack A.
Number 2 instead hits her with a running power slam, but Shane then throws powder into Pitbull's face, causing him to well about and accidentally nail a belly-to-belly suplex to the ref.
Yeah, it wasn't even just a little bit.
It was a lot of powder. Yeah.
There's a whole bag of cocaine just...
Yeah, no, it was like they dumped the whole thing of baby powder into, like, into the bag. They're like, yeah, we're just going to use the whole thing. That way we can't miss. Even if we miss, like, you know, something's got to hit him.
He's a big guy. You gotta blind him a lot.
And there's a lot of coverage to make.
Douglas delivers a single-arm DDT before putting a dog collar around number 2's neck, wrapping the chain and using it to choke the Pitbull before applying a full Nelson. And Pitbull 1 then gets on the apron to cheer on his partner, which was the boost number 2 needed to break free. But the franchise goes low, followed by another single-arm DDT.
Son of a bitch.
Number 1 then gets in the ring.
Don't do it.
And he throws a towel in Shane's face before starting to yell at him, only for Douglas to grab him by the halo and shake it.
And that part just, like, made my entire body get that whole, like, tingly feeling all over as it was happening. Because, again, I couldn't tell for sure how injured number 1 is. And that's the biggest fear that I've had for him this entire time was getting caught in the way.
And they didn't do it immediately. And when they did do it, they did it right. Like, shaking that is gross to look at no matter whether he's injured or not. It's just like, wonderful visual.
Yep.
Todd Gordon, officials, wrestlers, even Joey Styles himself come running down to the ring to check on number 1.
Make it serious if you're going to do ankles like this, guys.
Even multiple fans jump the rail to go after the franchise.
Yep.
This is the heat Jim Cornette was talking about.
Shane and Francine are led to the back where we get fan cam footage of Tommy Dreamer attacking Douglas. and a stretcher's brought in when Joel Gertner enters the ring to announce the franchise as the winner.
This is a hot angle, dude.
Yeah.
So Gordon turns and punches him.
So good.
Yeah, I don't normally use the word pop, but I pop for that.
Oh, man, yeah.
Heyman and the wrestlers pull Todd off of Gertner, but Joel takes the mic again to continue.
Son of a bitch.
So Paul goes after him this time.
So classic.
Wrestlers separate everybody, but threaten Gertner if he continues. So he leaves, while number one leaves in an ambulance.
What a stretcher job.
Whew.
What a hot angle.
Yeah.
I was like, this is good, but I didn't expect it to just... It came to a boil, and my God. Good stuff, man.
Short list?
I mean, I'm all for that.
I mean, with the angle
With
and everything.
everything involved
I mean,
in it, yeah.
I know there's not a... I mean, I know we made this comment last week.
You saw
with
the
like,
twinkle in my eye.
There was an actual winner.
there wasn't actually a finish.
But this was
But this
hotter.
But this angle is much hotter than
Yeah.
what we saw. And I even said that match last week was
Great.
short list, if
Yeah.
not for the
Yeah.
DQ finish.
Yeah, the finish on this one adds to everything in this match.
We haven't seen heat like this. Can't remember the last time we saw heat like this.
Marty Jannetty's head went through the barbershop window.
So I think we'll add it.
Yeah. I'm all for it.
But then we head to our 10th match. Primetime, Brian Lee and Stevie Richards with Blue Meanie, Supernova, and Lori Fullington versus Sandman and Tommy Dreamer with Beulah in an Ultimate Jeopardy match.
Tyler must be grounded or something.
He's with Raven overseas in storyline.
Gotcha.
But technically Raven was out for personal reasons, which is why Stevie's in this match in real life. The stipulations for this match is that each person had a singular stipulation.
Something on the
them.
line, yeah.
Had something on the line. Lee would have his head shaved. Richards was defending the ECW World Heavyweight Championship.
On behalf of Raven, so if he does get pinned,
He
Bill.
Raven loses the belt.
Sandman would be caned like 10 times in the ring. And Tommy would lose the services of Beulah as she would be forced to leave ECW.
I mean, hair, not that big of a deal. The caning, Sandman can take it.
Yeah.
Beulah leaving, I guess that would hurt some people's feelings. But the belt.
Hurt my eyeballs.
Yeah.
So Dreamer shares McGillicuddy with Sandman as he makes his entrance, as she leads him around the ring before making it to the apron where they pour beer on her, only for Sandman to start drinking it off her chest. And I was like, all right, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
And the match gets going with Primetime attacking Tommy to start, hitting right hands and a back body drop. He goes to run the ropes, only for Beulah to grab his foot, causing the distraction, allowing Dreamer to nail a clothesline that would send them both out to the floor. Tommy then sends Lee into multiple guardrails when Stevie would join in on the attack, followed by Sandman leaping over the top rope onto Richards. And everybody's brawling as Dreamer uses a chair and a cookie sheet on Primetime. Sandman tosses Stevie into a guardrail. Lee then sends Tommy into a guardrail before Sandman can come to help his partner, brawling with Primetime. Richard slams Dreamer's head into the timekeeper's table, but Tommy responds by tossing Stevie into Lee and the guardrail, followed by a chair shot across his back. And Primetime responds by sending Dreamer into the front row and using a chair himself. Sandman suplexes a table onto Richards,
Tableplex.
as Lee and Tommy make their way into the crowd to brawl some more. And Stevie rolls Sandman back in the ring, but he receives some hard chops and multiple clotheslines in a corner. And Sandman tries for a third, only for Richards to move, before Meanie would jump in the ring to hit an avalanche splash on Sandman right as he hits the buckle, followed by a Stevie kick for a 2 count. Sandman would then pull Richards out of the ring to brawl, while Primetime and Dreamer have made their way back into the ring, where Lee delivers a running power slam before placing a chair on Tommy's face and hitting a leg drop for a near fall. Primetime goes to run the ropes again, with Beulah grabbing the foot once more. So Lee picks her up by the hair and headbutts her.
My God.
Which allows Dreamer to recover and roll up Primetime for a 2 count. Tommy now goes for a clothesline, but Lee ducks and grabs him for a chokeslam. But Dreamer blocks with a knee to the gut and nails a DDT. He makes the cover, only for Louie Fullington to jump in the ring to pull Tommy off.
God damn it, bitches.
Get these bitches out of here.
Primetime uses the distraction to attack from behind before tossing Tommy out to the floor, where Stevie and Supernova are wailing on the Sandman. And Lee takes Dreamer out into the crowd using chairs and up to the top of the bleachers, where he throws him off through a table. While back in the ring, Richard uses a chair on Sandman and makes a cover for a near fall. Sandman reverses a piledriver attempt into a back body drop, while Primetime takes a busted open Tommy to the bathroom to brawl, where Dreamer uses a trash can over the head of Lee. Back in the ring, Sandman has tossed Stevie out to the floor and following out to drop an elbow on him. While in the bathroom, Tommy throws a chair at Primetime, busting him open. Tommy slams Lee into a wall as they make their way back to ringside, where Sandman continues the punishment on Richards by dropping the broken table on him.
And then out come the Eliminators. No, thank God.
JK. Dreamer and Primetime have skipped the ring entirely to head down the entranceway for Tommy to have his head slammed into a wall, while Stevie has been rolled back into the ring, where Sandman hits a slingshot somersault leg drop from the apron for a 2 count.
I love that he slams his head into the wall, but like the wall's already been broken, so it's like there's a...
They just replastered it. And they're like, well,
we'll just do it again.
Do it again.
Nah.
Lee slams Dreamer's head into a vending machine several times, while Sandman nails a slingshot splash onto Richards for a near fall. Primetime then drags Tommy up a ladder to an awning above the snack bar, while Meanie and Supernova are stacking tables below them. And Lee uses a chair and boxes to keep up the attack before chokeslamming Dreamer through 4 tables.
Ooh, he goes through
all
at least,
the way to the floor.
It's brutal. He goes through at least 2 of them, but it'd be probably better for him if he went through all 4, because there's just concrete down there.
Yeah.
There's no crash pad.
Back in the ring, Sandman starts to go after Louie, only for Richard to come in from behind for a schoolboy for a 2 count. Sandman makes it back to his feet and he rips the dress off of Louie before turning around to get Stevie kicked for the pin. And no, Sandman kicks out. Louie then delivers a cane shot to Sandman's head, but he just grabs her, going for a DDT right as he gets Stevie kicked again for a near fall. Richard grabs the cane to use, but he misses, allowing Sandman to nail a DDT for the pin and the win. And new! Post-match, the crowd chants for Sandman as he celebrates in the ring, and we fade to black.
I mean, pretty good near falls there at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And Sandy's on his knees holding that belt. He's been chasing it for quite a while. Feels good to get it off a Raven.
God, yes.
Just saying.
Agreed.
So I ask you, gentlemen, what are your overall thoughts of Ultimate Jeopardy 1996? And can I go first?
Absolutely.
Yes.
So I like this show for the most part. I think there's some sequencing issues with the matches.
Mm-hmm.
Because on this tape, it's a little bit of an uneven feel. And I don't know if it helps or hurts. So that's going to be a question for you guys as we're going through this. So at the actual show, the tag stuff is all separated. There's a match, one of the tag matches, and then there's a singles match, and then there's another tag match, and then there's another singles match, and then there's 3 or 4 more singles match, and then finally the Gangstas and Eliminators are the semi main event.
Yeah, like third from
So
the
like
card.
there's more matches in between than like they're back to back to back, because they didn't make any sense like why like all of them on this tape that we watched.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the tape is, as you'll see on some of the matches, it'll put the copyright in the corner, so it's like it's three episodes of hardcore TV.
It's 3 episodes of hardcore TV. They've just taken the matches and put them all together into one single thing.
Yeah, and just kind of chopped it up.
So, on one hand, you get all the tag stuff, you get it over and done with, but I think it would have made more sense if it would have been separated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
So, like I said, I like this show, but I had some qualms with that stuff.
Yeah.
So knowing that information, that may change your opinion. I don't know.
I mean, I like the show. It's a pretty good show. There's not too much promo trash. There's not too much actual trash, as in garbage. I think it helps a lot when some of the things that I'm less interested in get cut down to key moments, and that happened here. Luckily for me, it's the things that I'm typically less interested in. I didn't have to watch Bubba say his name for 5 minutes. That makes me feel good.
Or get hit over the head 70 million times.
Yes.
Yeah, Sandy won without pinning Raven. It's nice to get it off of Raven. I assume maybe, like you said, Raven's hurt, but were they going to pin Raven? I mean, he's been protected the second he got in this place. I guess we can continue this thing.
I feel like they did the title change here because, one, this doesn't hurt Raven at all by losing the belt because of Stevie, but also they weren't quite sure how long he was going to be gone.
Yeah, for sure. And they should get it off of him.
Yeah.
And, and they did a good job because you're like, okay, well, Stevie will... You think, okay, well, Stevie will probably just win because he's got Glory and Meanie and shit. And so the near falls actually meant something. Mm-hmm. And the Sandy winning was like not the world's biggest surprise, but I wasn't sure it was going to happen, which is what you want out of wrestling. And then I love my boys Louie, Smith, and Furnas, so I'm pretty into that. The thing you said about the tag matches, we probably would have got the Eliminators spread out a little more. Still think there was too much of it, and I like the guys, but we're spamming them like choke slams at this point. And then, of course, poor Terry Gordy. It's kind of, it's kind of how I feel about the thing.
Yeah.
But he might have a glow up here soon.
We shall see.
I want the best for everyone, for the most part.
Yeah, I liked a lot about this show. Much like you guys have said, the Spicolli Furnas match was fun. The certain things were kept to a minimum with the Dudleys, JT Smith, and the...
Oh yeah, JT Smith, Mikey.
Yeah,
fun.
That's what I'm like, who the hell did he fight? I'm trying to remember
JT Smith
there was like 7
and
people
the
at
FBI,
ringside.
yeah.
Yeah, it's always fun to have a Mikey match. For me, the thing that bothered me the most about this show was there was too much of the Eliminators.
Yeah.
And it was like the shows that I hated in the past where it was just a constant blur effect of here comes Stevie and Raven's gang, here comes the Gangstas
it's
and
not
the
special
Samoans, and
if you keep doing it.
If you keep doing it, yeah, I can see that.
It gets old. I mean,
even if it is the best finisher of all time.
Yeah, even if it's even if it's over, you still can't spam it.
Yeah, when you have them interfering or involved in like 4 matches in a row, it's too much. They could have used one of those matches and just use it as a flashback or something of, this is why they hate this person, or, this is what's going on here, but they didn't need to show the entire match. They didn't need to show them as much as they did on this show because, if anything, it should have just been called Ultimate Elimination or Ultimate Eliminators or something because there was just that much of them on there. I like the fact that Raven wasn't there because the Raven effect has worn off on me.
He's got the charisma of a piece of toast.
Yeah, the only thing that the Raven effect has done for anybody on the show is it's made Stevie a star.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is great, but if they're going to make Stevie a star, let Stevie be the star. Fuck Raven.
I feel that for sure. The Like, what was more exciting than the surprise of the glass breaking when you didn't know Stone Cold was going to be on the show? I mean, I'm not saying I'm not putting the Eliminators up there with that. I'm not saying it's a tag team thing, but less is more most of the time.
When you're combining 3 TV shows into one recording, do a little more editing.
Yeah, or maybe some more intelligent
Give somebody else, that minute and a half of camera time.
Well, the editing wasn't done by ECW. It was done by some fan that put the video together. So
okay, well, I just thought it was like 3 episodes.
They promoted it though, right? Did ECW not promote them? Or?
I mean, the show was... There was a show that like had a full card, and then they edited it down to show matches into 3 different episodes of Hardcore TV, and then someone went and took all the matches from Hardcore TV and put it into a singular file in the order that they thought was good.
Whoever you are that did that, while I appreciate the work that you put into it, try a little better next time.
appreciate the work, but
Yeah, I'll give you an ECW for effort.
Good. Where's the smart marks at? All right, fuck you.
I think it's time we smark it up. So what are some of the best moments of this show?
Shit, we still have to talk more about it.
Dick Salt?
Big Dick Salt. Yeah.
It's just fun to say, even.
Yeah, and then, of course, the hottest angle we've seen
I always love
quite a while.
Driver.
Spicolli Driver, of course. I mean, Furnas, Spicolli, Smith, always going to get my love. But, I mean, Shane Douglas doing the Lord's work. Pitbull being, the best babyface in the company and has been for a while. And it's like, are they gonna do it with him? Are they gonna do it with him? And it still hasn't lost. The fans are still behind him.
I know we've seen this match so many times, and I still get pumped for it every time we see it.
That was my original thought when the match first started was, seriously, again? Okay.
Yeah, it's like, Pitbull gonna actually win? And it's like, well, no, we did something better.
Yeah.
We pissed everybody off and did it in, like, wonderful fashion.
We've had him actually win before. And it was fun, it was good, but it didn't leave me, holy shit, on the brain.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, just the shake would have been enough, but they built on it. Like, it went up another, like, 3 levels with, like, Gertner and Todd, and then Paul and Gertner, and, like, the whole locker room actually fucking showed up, and they actually looked pissed. And a lot of the times, people get their ass beaten, nobody does anything.
WWF and WCW, take some notes.
Yeah. Listen to Paul. The other Paul.
Public Enemy showing up, guys.
Oh yeah, that's my most favorite Public Enemy appearance ever.
Probably.
I'm sure it probably is.
My favorite Public Enemy thing outside of that is the Mikey Whipwreck segment.
Oh yeah,
in the woods.
Learn how to be a thug.
That was pretty great too.
I like that.
How about most disappointing?
Too much Eliminators.
Actually, my biggest complaint is actually with the main event. And it's one of those things where I know Brian Lee and Tommy Dreamer have a feud, and Sandman and Raven have a feud. But literally, there was like one moment when Dreamer started dealing with Richards and Primetime started dealing with Sandman, and I was like, okay, cool, we're gonna actually like switch around something, because who wouldn't want to be the champion?
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't Dreamer ever go after Richards to become the champion?
Very good point. It should be kind of like almost like a Benny Hill routine of them trying to get his ass.
I'm like, shoot, if I was Brian Lee, I'd be all like big booting Richards and be like, I'm gonna pin you. And like, I don't care that you're my partner.
Yeah.
So I mean, I get why.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, that's the one problem I have with that kind of match. It's like, everybody should want to be the champion. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's really my only major disappointment is the too much elimination.
I wouldn't call it a disappointment, but we've talked about it. Sad to see Terry Gordy just like every fucking other move have to be told what to do, and then he hit him in the head with a chair. It's like the guy's brain is fucking mush, and then you cracked him over the head with it, and then when he hits Bam Bam, he hits Bam Bam over the back. He doesn't even crack him on the head. Wrestling.
How about best performer of the night?
It's
hard not to give it to Douglas all the
I
time.
was like, yeah.
Well, no, that's the thing is, Douglas, yeah, but then as I was watching the show, all I could think was Pitbull number 1 was the first Pitbull that we saw. He was this jacked up dude, looked the part, acted the part, wore the spandex, had the long hair, had all that stuff, looked like a beast. And since they've had this accident with him, he has totally changed his look to the point that he doesn't even look like the same person that was there before. You know, he's covered up, he looks weak, he looks...
They even call him by his actual name.
Yeah, he's Gary.
Gary Wolf. They say Gary Wolf constantly. He's not. They're not even calling him. They call him Pitbull 1, but like they say Gary Wolf just as much as they say Pitbull 1.
Yeah, but he's... I'm not necessarily calling him the best performer, but there's something that stands out about him, how he's done just a complete character change. And yeah, he hasn't had to do much, you know, stand there, look hurt, possibly be hurt, but just his overall
There's sympathy for him, yeah.
Yeah, his overall transformation, he doesn't look like the big buff badass that has been running around for the last 2 years.
But he still, when he's called upon, he still
yeah.
does what he should do, what he would do, even though he shouldn't be anywhere near that stuff.
Yeah. Also, Gertner. There's just something about his...
Gertner got so much heat in just like that one line.
Luckily for him, he has the most slappable face.
Uh-huh.
It's like that you want to hit the guy, even if you've never heard him talk, even if put that guy in a suit and he immediately looks like a fucking shitheel.
Yeah.
And he is.
And then,
it works.
Also big dick for the dick salt, who I never would have expected him to pull that off.
No, not at all. I didn't ever expect anything out of Big Dick. I had really no interest in him at all, but he did that moonsault, and now I'm like, all right, man, I'm listening now.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see where it goes.
How about most surprising? And that's where the big dick
salt, yeah.
Yeah, Salt and
Bam Bam showing back at Bigelow.
Yeah.
Wasn't sure that Sandman, that like the belt would change hands, but it felt like there was obviously more of a chance since Stevie was doing it, but I feel like they could have let Stevie win on a fluke, and it would have been just as believable. Of course, this is the better outcome, whether you like Sandman or not.
I don't know if it goes in surprising or disappointing, but learning about Rock and Roll Express, wondering what it would have been like.
I think it's more surprising that they were going to bring them in to face the Gangstas.
Yeah.
I mean, they may have fought the Gangstas when they were in Smoky Mountain.
I'm sure they probably faced each other
then.
then.
I'm like all for Rock and Roll Express against Stevie and Meanie or against the Eliminators even, but the Gangstas just seem like a weird blend.
I don't want to see those boys get hit with garbage. It's just not for me.
Making their way to the ring.
It's trivia time.
Okie dokie.
So this week, the category is The Champ is Here.
The champ is here! The champ is here!
So 5 points for a correct answer, 3 points if we go to multiple choice. I'm going to give you a show and a title. You are going to give me who the champion was at the end of that show.
Okay.
The show is Super Brawl 3. The championship is the WCW World Heavyweight Championship.
I'm going to go out on a limb and give Shane the chance to make 5 or 3 points. I will go with Vader.
That is correct.
I needed him. And
Do you remember which match it was, though?
The comeback starts.
it was him and Flair.
No.
Him and Sting, yes.
Black Castle of Fear.
Of course it was Sting. But Super Brawl 3 and 4 is Vader time in WCW.
That's right. Next week, In Your House 11, Buried Alive.
You know it. You love it. You've seen clips from this your entire life if you ever watched wrestling.
Music from this week's show is Thunder Kiss 65
5-5.
Yeah.
by Rob Zombie. And Sandman won our main event. So please don't sue us, Lars, because we're going to play Enter Sandman by Metallica.
That's right.
Exit Light.
Enter Night.
Take my hand.
Off to Never Never Land.
All right.
If you like this episode or any of our other ones, please go out there, rate and review us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify,
Hey now.
We are on Spotify.
or wherever you find your podcasts at. Do as Michael says.
5 stars or no stars, leave a 5-star review. Take a screen cap. DM it to the Wrestling History X Twitter. And we'll send you out a logo magnet. There's only a handful of them, so you know. We'll let you know whether you got any left.
Yes.
But get on it.
Be one
Who
of
doesn't
the
want a
few
fridge
in the
magnet?
crowd.
What are refrigerators for? Keeping things cold? Holding magnets.
That's right.
That's pretty much what I use refrigerators for.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you have any questions, comments, concerns,
Ooh, where are we going next? We are going to Indiana. If you've ever been to Indiana, let me know what you had. Let me know what's good. Food, drink, snacks, desserts, places to go, people to see. Yeah, tell me what you know about Indiana. Slide into the DM, shoot us a little shout out on Twitter, an email, something. Let me know, because I've been doing this little culinary trip now for almost 200 episodes or something like that. What episode was this one?
222.
222, and I started on number 65 or 66. So yeah, we've gone to some places and doing some things and eating some food and drinking some beverages, and I need some assistance. So if you've got something that fits in Indianapolis or the Buried Alive theme of In Your House, if there's something that you've made in your house that you think I should try,
What is it called? The
Let us know.
dirt worms or whatever.
Dirt and worms?
Cup of worms or whatever the thing.
It's good.
Sorry, I know. It's just one of those.
Chocolate whipped cream, crushed up Oreos, gummy worms. What more do you need?
Yeah.
Damn
Do you get
it.
that?
It's a good idea.
Get it after nap time.
But you can send any of those things to our email at wrestlinghistoryx@gmail.com or find us on Twitter at wrestlinghistox. That's wrestling HISTO.
X. Throw it up for the Gangstas.
We'll talk to you next week.
Later.